3 months after I crossed into this parallel world, I inherited a repair shop that was one bad month away from closing its doors for good. At first, I figured that once I bonded with the universal repair system, my life would be simple: fix a few blenders, patch up some washing machines, and coast through a quiet existence. I was wrong, spectacularly wrong. The first real job the system handed me wasn't a toaster or a leaky kettle, it was a lithography machine. When Zhao Ling, a researcher and undeniably beautiful even in a panic, burst into my cramped little shop, clutching a fried calibration module, I fixed it with a modified egg beater, a dental drill, and a handful of spare junk from the back room. Then I charged her 300 yuan. And almost as an afterthought, I bumped the machine's precision up by another 1%. The research team nearly had a collective heart attack, but that came later. Right now, I was just a guy live streaming himself fixing a computer. The ancient desktop finally wheezed to life, its startup chime crackling through speakers. "See, this is the kind of skill you can't learn overnight," I said to the camera. "Without it, you might as well go install screen protectors under a bridge somewhere." The chat erupted in laughter. "That's literally just a loose battery connector, bro." Betting 1 bag of chips he claims he fixed a space station next? "Raise you 2 bags, aircraft carrier, easy." I let the sarcasm wash over me, unbothered. I was about to fire back a comeback when, ding, the door chime rang, sharp and sudden. A woman rushed in like the building was on fire. Elegant, composed, or she would have been, if her face weren't twisted with barely contained panic. She clutched a small precision case to her chest like it held her firstborn. She crossed the shop in 3 strides and locked eyes with me. "Boss, is it true that you can fix anything?" I leaned back in my chair, unhurried, and pointed lazily at the banner behind me. "Can't you read the sign? Aircraft carriers, nuclear submarines, space stations, household appliances, anything with a plug or a battery, I fix it." I flashed a grin. "So which is it, submarine or carrier?" She wasn't in the mood for jokes. She slammed the case onto my counter and popped it open. Small case, smaller object inside. Something like a battery pack, swaddled in foam, veined with hair-thin wires and crystalline components layered over each other in a way that made my eyes ache just looking at it. "What is this?" I sat up straight for the first time all day. Instinct was screaming at me, this one's real. "A lithography machine," she said. "Its calibration sensor module, to be exact. It overloaded mid-experiment, the core probes are fried. Sending it back to the manufacturer would take months. Our project doesn't have months." Her voice cracked with urgency. Her name was Zhao Ling, a researcher at a national institute. An experiment gone wrong had killed their lithography machine's calibration module, freezing an entire project in place. Every specialist she'd consulted had written it off as unrepairable. So she'd come here, a last resort, a rundown repair shop that shouldn't have been able to help her, and yet here she was, hoping anyway. The chat lost its mind. "Wait, did she say lithography machine? Lady, you're in the wrong shop, this is appliances only. Hardware store's 2 blocks down. This has to be staged, no way this is real. If he actually takes this job, the stream is going down in history. Think real hard before you answer, streamer." For one beat, the stream went quiet. Then it exploded, a lithography machine. The joking in me switched off, my expression shifted, surprise curdling fast into something sharper, excitement. A year ago, I'd fallen into this world and inherited this shop, bonded to the universal repair system in the same breath. Every repair earned me technology points, scaled to the value and complexity of the job, points I could pour into the systems shop for tech I had no business owning. A year of fixing toasters and busted fans had gotten me a few hundred points. Small change. A lithography machine, though, that was a different tier entirely. This was the job he'd been waiting for. I studied the module. C7 model, right? Zhao Ling froze, then stared at me like I'd grown a second head. How did some repairman in a shop like this know the model on site? "What's the peak impact reading? Are the other components clearing self-diagnostics?" She answered every question rapid fire, hope climbing in her voice with H1. She couldn't quite believe it, this man, in this shop, was asking questions half her own colleagues wouldn't know to ask. I nodded once. "I can fix it." Zhao Ling forgot to breathe. He could actually fix it? The chat went nuclear. He said he can fix a lithography machine. With what, his bare hands? Bro, stop it, you're going to talk yourself into orbit. You break that thing, you couldn't pay it off if you sold the whole shop. I held up a hand for quiet. "I can fix it. But fair warning." I let the pause stretch. "I don't come cheap." "Money isn't the issue." Zhao Ling sighed instantly. "If you can rarely do this, I'll get the funding approved. Our budget has provisions for exactly this kind of situation." She'd clearly braced herself to get fleeced. I smiled and held up 3 fingers. 3 million. "Okay, 3 million then?" She sucked in a breath. Outrageous number, but given the stakes, she wasn't about to haggle. I kept staring at her, deadpan. What are you talking about, 300? 300 yuan? Dead silence. Zhao Lingling just stared. Might use a little extra electricity, though. That a problem? 300? You're serious? Dead serious. Her entire worldview seemed to tilt on its axis. Yes, of course, yes. She fumbled her phone out and scanned my payment code, hands shaking so badly it took her 3 tries. Payment received. Y% 300, I grinned at the camera. All right, everyone, that's the stream for today. Rest of this repairs members-only content. Want to see how it ends? You know what to do. And I killed the feed. The shop went quiet. Zhao Lingling looked at me. Then she looked around the shop, really looked this time. No professional-grade equipment in sight. Nothing that belonged anywhere near a machine worth more than the entire building. Her confidence started to crumble. If this went wrong, she wouldn't just lose the module, she'd spend the rest of her career explaining herself to a review board. I ignored all of that and pulled on a pair of anti-static gloves, laid a reasonably clean cloth across the table, and lifted the module free of its case with the kind of care most people reserve for holding a newborn. System. Let's work. A translucent panel bloomed into view, visible to no one but me. Repairable item detected. C7 lithography machine calibration sensor module. Damage level, 87%. Current technology, points 506. Confirm repair. Confirmed. I smiled to myself. Normally I was fixing rice cookers and cheap radios, one at a time, barely nudging the point counter. This job alone was about to burn through nearly everything I had. The system finished its calculations. I turned to a dusty shelf and pulled down a battered military green toolbox. Zhao Lingling's eyes lit up. Finally. The hidden arsenal of a secret master. Then I opened it, and the light in her eyes died just as fast. A modified soldering iron, a homemade heat gun, a few tools that looked salvaged from a scrapyard, and, unmistakably, a kitchen egg beater. Her mouth twitched. Boss. She started to say something, then stopped. What was there to say? The module was already broken. There was nowhere left to go but forward. Relax, I said. These are family heirlooms. She did not look relaxed, but she'd already crossed the point of no return, so she just watched. I picked up a modified air blower and aimed it at the module. No blast of heat, just a faint, strange smell drifting through the air. Through her magnifying lens, Zhao Lingling watched something impossible happen. The microscopic circuits, warped and twisted by the overload, were slowly straightening themselves back into place. What is that? Reverse, electrostrictive effect, I said, like I was explaining how to boil water. I pulse a specific frequency to restore the metal's memory. She stared blank. In simple terms, I'm reminding the metal what shape it used to be. Her brain nearly short-circuited. Years of scientific training, and she'd never seen anything close to this. Before she could recover, I picked up the soldering iron, a thin needle glowing red at its tip. Her stomach dropped. What was he planning to do with that? I took a breath, my expression going dead serious, and guided the needle toward the ruined probe array with total steadiness. The instant it made contact, a tiny arc of electricity flashed. Zhao Lingling pressed her eye to the magnifying lens and forgot to breathe. The burned section was rebuilding itself. The microscopic circuits moved like they were alive, falling into formation under my control. What kind of technology is this? Why so surprised, I said, not even looking up. It's just cold atom glass. I went back to work. She just stood there, mouth open. She was a trained researcher. And this man was casually name-dropping technology that didn't exist in any theoretical paper her institute had ever touched. Just cold atom glass. Do you have any idea what you just said? Her institute wouldn't dare put a concept like that in a forward-looking research proposal. She covered her mouth with one hand, her entire scientific worldview quietly collapsing. All right. I set the needle down. Final step, rebuilding the probe array and the microscopic circuitry. I picked up the egg beater. She watched me pry open an old cookie tin, pour a strange powder into a small glass container, and drop the beater in. It started vibrating, not spinning, vibrating, at some impossibly low frequency. The powder shifted colour, thickened, and turned into a glowing liquid. Recognition flickered across her face. Ultrasonic atomization suspension. Through the lens, she watched the burned circuit board knit itself back together, and somehow come out better than it started. Minutes passed. Finally, I looked up. Done. Sweat beaded on my forehead. Even with the system's help, precision work at this level took everything out of you. Zhao Lingling stared at the module. Finished? It hasn't even been half an hour. You fixed a lithography sensor with a soldering needle and an egg beater. I shrugged. You watched the whole thing through the lens. Check it yourself. Then, almost as an afterthought, oh, and I bumped up the precision while I was in there. So that's extra. Her eyes went wide. Extra? Her brain was still stuck somewhere between cold atom glass and ultrasonic atomization, and now this supposed technological mastermind wanted to talk about the single most mundane thing in the universe. Money. Boss. Her expression darkened. Lithography machines haven't even existed that long. Your family heirlooms must be pretty young. She sighed. How much extra? I held up a hand. 5 fingers. She hesitated. 5,000. Or 500,000. Fine. 500,000, she said, already resigned. Expensive, but reasonable, for tech this critical. I frowned immediately. Whoa, hold on. You can't just throw the country's money around like that. That's taxpayer money we're talking about. Why do you keep jumping straight to the 10,000s column? It's 500 yuan. 500. Think of the taxpayers. I covered my payment code with my hand like she might try to overpay me by force. 500, not a yuan more. She stared at me. This is cutting-edge lithography technology. I'd have paid you millions if I had to. And you're asking for 500? Exactly, 500, not 1 cent more. She had nothing left to say to that. Oh, right, I added like it had just occurred to me. I also adjusted the resonance frequency. It was running crude before, moved it forward by 1%. Shouldn't cause your project any issues. I looked up. Why are you staring at me like that? Zhao Ling shot to her feet. Then her legs gave out and she dropped straight back into the chair, eyes wide with disbelief. Wait, 1%? I panicked. Hey, don't tell me you're trying to scam me out of a refund. I only charged you 500. If something's wrong, I'll give it back. No, that's not it. She was already fumbling for her phone. I'll pay. Payment received. With 500. As she packed up the module, she hesitated. Boss, can I get your contact information? I narrowed my eyes immediately. Why? I already fixed your thing. Are you trying to get more free labour out of me? I'm a respectable business owner, you know. She was, once again, completely speechless. This man flipped between mysterious genius and world-class idiot faster than she could track. I just want your number in case something else needs repairing. I snorted. Or you're worried the fix won't hold and you won't be able to find me again. Relax. This shop isn't going anywhere. If it breaks again, I'll refund your full 800. Her mouth twitched. This was not about the 800 yuan. The moment Zhao Ling stepped outside, her phone rang. She checked the screen. The institute director. Zhao Ling, where are you? I told you to get that module repaired. Multiple institutions said you never even showed up. Director, don't worry, it's repaired. Silence. Repaired? Where? She glanced back at the tiny shop behind her. At a household appliance repair shop. Longer silence. Zhao Ling, have you lost your mind? That's a lithography machine, not a television. I'm not joking. The core sensor array is restored, the microscopic circuits are rebuilt, and the precision is up by 1%. Dead silence on the line. Then finally, where are you? I'm coming to get you. The Institute's car tore through the streets. Director Zhang Lingnan gripping the wheel, with a face carved from stone. Zhao Ling sat in the back, the repaired module cradled in her lap, nerves stretched to breaking. She kept replaying it in her head. The ridiculous repair shop owner, the junkyard toolkit, the egg beater. Part of her still wondered if she'd imagined the entire afternoon. By the time they pulled up to the Institute, researchers from half a dozen project teams were already crowded outside. The car had barely stopped before they swarmed it. Ling, what happened? Did the manufacturer call back? Where's the module? Our project's been stalled for weeks. Did you find someone? Everyone talked over everyone else. Finally, Zhao Ling managed to say, It's repaired. Dead silence. Repaired? What do you mean, repaired? Repaired where? An elderly professor pushed his glasses up his nose. Our own facilities said the fastest possible turnaround was several weeks. You were gone a few hours. There's no way you actually repaired it. This is absurd. Zhao Ling, have you lost your mind? Do you understand what this module is? It's not a television, it's a lithography machine component. And you took it to a repairman who fixes TVs. The crowd erupted, accusations flying from every direction. Zhao Ling's head dropped, her eyes stinging. Enough. One shout cut through the noise. Director Zhang Lingnan stepped out of the car, his expression grim. Zhao Ling, are you absolutely certain it's repaired? She couldn't find her voice. She just nodded. Fine. His tone left no room for argument. Take it to Clean Room 1. If it's really repaired, you've done something extraordinary. If it isn't, you're writing your resignation letter. Inside Clean Room 1, a team of researchers carefully lifted the module free. Zhao Ling hovered behind them, hands trembling with nerves she couldn't shake. Then one of them shouted, Look at these circuits! The repair is flawless. It looks like it just came off the manufacturer's line. No, better than that. It's better than the original. There's not even a trace of where the damage was. Another researcher frowned at his readout. The material's off. Get the materials team down here. This isn't matching anything in our database. Zhao Lingling stared at the module. You're sure? The materials team ran a full analysis and came back baffled. This material isn't in our records. We don't have anything comparable in storage anywhere. Stunned looks passed around the room. It was 2025. Could this actually be an undiscovered material? A find like that alone could reshape the Institute's entire research trajectory. Power it on! Run the diagnostics! Everyone scrambled to their stations. Power system. Self-check complete. No abnormalities. Logic unit. Inspection complete. No abnormalities. Circuit test complete. All values within acceptable range. Green indicators lit up the main screen one after another. Every pass sent another jolt through the room. A module supposedly burned beyond saving had just cleared every diagnostic they had. This isn't possible. Forget whether it works. If this repair technique doesn't exist anywhere else on Earth, we may have just stumbled onto a historic breakthrough. This could redefine the entire industry. Then the graph on, the screen started climbing. Fast. Everyone's eyes snapped upward, expressions tightening by the second. Director, the numbers are off. Zhang Lingnan's eyes went wide. Off how? They're above our previous ceiling. By 1%? 1%? Yes, sir. That shouldn't be achievable with current technology. 1%. Zhang Lingnan repeated the words like they belonged to a language he'd just learned. Then his eyes rolled back, and he collapsed. Director! Someone call an ambulance! Then, from the floor, Zhang Lingnan started laughing. 1%, we actually did it. 10 years ahead of schedule? No, 20. The rest of the world could spend decades chasing a breakthrough like this and never catch up. This isn't luck. This is a technological miracle. The room stared at the data, understanding settling in all at once. Their institute had just cleared a hurdle the entire world had been stuck on. Their team had a seat on the global stage now. Zhao Lingling finally found her voice. So, it's actually repaired. Every head turned toward her, and only then did anyone notice how far she'd drifted to the back of the room, completely dazed. An elderly professor rushed over. Lingling, this isn't just a repair, this is a breakthrough. We might not have to depend on foreign technology for this anymore. You did this. I did this. She pointed at herself, brain still lagging several steps behind the room. A few hours ago, the director had been threatening to fire her. Now she was being congratulated like a hero. Team leader Zhao, an older colleague, stepped forward. Tell us, where did you actually get this repaired? Every professional lab in the country struck out. Which military facility pulled this off? Whoever did it, I want to shake their hand personally. All eyes turned to her. She took a breath. I wasn't lying. I really did take it to a repair shop. Someone laughed. Lingling, you can drop the act now. You're a team leader. Just tell us the truth. A shop like that can barely fix a television. How would it fix a lithography machine? I'm not joking. I tried every professional institution first. None of them could do it. I didn't have a choice, so I went to that shop. Their sign is what caught my eye. What did it say? She recited it word for word. Above, he repairs aircraft carriers and space stations. Below, he repairs wash basins and water heaters. If it runs on electricity, there's nothing he can't fix. The lab went dead silent. And then, I went in. The owner used a soldering iron, a heat gun, and, she paused, an egg beater. He repaired the module, charged me 300 yuan. Then he adjusted the precision, so the final total was 800. Every jaw in the room dropped. An egg beater repaired a lithography machine, and he only charged 800 yuan total? Zhang Lingnan's expression sharpened. Everyone in this room understands the sensitivity of what just happened here. Nobody breathes a word of this outside these walls. Understood. Begin production immediately. New precision standard, effective now. I want results fast. The room snapped back into motion, but Zhang Lingnan held Zhao Lingling back before she could join them. Lingling. Yes, director? Do you remember where that shop is? Yes. Good, take me there. I want to meet this owner myself. Zhao Lingling blinked. The director of a national research institute wanted to personally meet a repairman running a shop out of spare parts and stubbornness? She nodded, anyway. A few minutes later, Zhang Lingnan returned carrying a second case. The moment she saw what was inside, her stomach dropped. A high-precision atomic synchronization chip from the Beidou 3 satellite navigation system. Was the director seriously about to hand Jiang Feng this too? Could he actually pull it off twice? Back at the shop, I'd already flipped the live stream back on. Fixes refrigerators, fixes washing machines, fixes aircraft carrier engines on request. Your favourite repairmaster is back, baby. Beside me sat a young girl with a broken computer mouse. Everybody, look at this adorable customer with her busted mouse. Today, I'm going to show her what 20 years of expert hand speed looks like. I caught myself. Repair speed. She giggled. Can you actually fix it? It's a limited edition. I already tried 3 other shops. Nobody could do it. I put a hand over my heart. You can question my morals. You can question my life choices. But never, never question my repair speed. The chat lit up instantly. Here we go again, Skulty, screen recording this for blackmail later. Don't doubt him, he fixed my rice cooker and now my food tastes better. Pretty sure that's just better rice. Okay, but what happened with the lithography lady? Did he actually fix it, or did he nuke a national research project? I scoffed. What's so hard about one little lithography module? That lady kept glancing back at me on her way out, by the way, practically begging me to make an honest woman of her. If I weren't such a disciplined man, you'd all be calling her sister-in-law right now. The chat roasted me mercilessly for that. Meanwhile, my hands were already moving, mouse fully disassembled in under a minute. Then, ding, the door opened. I glanced up on reflex and froze. Zhao Lingling, again. But not alone this time. Behind her stood a man somewhere in his 50s or 60s, radiating a kind of quiet, crushing authority just by standing there. Panic flickered through me. Did I actually break it? Is that why she brought backup? System, if you screwed me over, I swear I turned to the camera, forcing a smile. Sorry, everyone. Looks like we've got a little after-sales visit. Back in a bit. I muted the mic fast. Zhao Lingling approached first. Boss, why'd you bring reinforcements? Is this an interrogation? No, nothing like that. The module you repaired is completely fine, better than fine. It's outperforming the original spec. I relaxed. Then what's this about? He's a senior member of my institute. He heard about your work and wants you to take a look at something. I studied the older man. Whatever he wasn't an ordinary customer, that much was obvious. But if he wasn't here to make trouble, I didn't much care who he was. Besides, Zhao Lingling's last job had padded my point total nicely. If this one paid off the same way, I was looking at another windfall. Since you're a repeat customer, I said, waving them over, I'll cut you a special deal. Let's see it. Zhang Lingnan took in the shop with a slow, deliberate look. It was worse than he'd expected. He'd assumed a place capable of repairing a lithography machine would at least look the part, some hidden lab dressed up as a storefront. Instead, there was practically nothing here at all. It looked more primitive than a corner phone repair stall. Zhao Lingling opened the case. Inside sat a chip roughly the size of a palm, its surface etched with microscopic patterning. A crystalline component nestled at its center. One glance told me everything. This wasn't consumer hardware. Boss, can you fix it? I picked it up, turning it over like I was actually inspecting it, while internally I was already shouting at the system. System scan. Repairable item detected. Beidou 3 satellite navigation chip, restricted version. Damage level, 92%. Main logic gate array, overloaded. Data buffer, failed. Repair analysis, in progress. 10%, 40%, 90%. Analysis complete. Repair cost, 100. Technology points. Reward upon completion, 500 technology points. Confirm repair? I frowned. I'd suspected this old man wasn't ordinary the second he walked in. Now I knew exactly why. This was tied to something well above my pay grade. Silently, I confirmed. Confirmed. Zhang Lingnan watched me stare at the chip in silence and started to explain. Young man, this chip is a Beidou navigation chip. I cut in. Main logic gate arrays fried. Data buffers damaged too. Classic signature of a power surge. Your shielding wasn't up to spec. Dead silence. Zhang Lingnan stared at me, and for the first time, real shock broke through his composure. Zhao Lingling looked just as stunned. Nobody who could identify that chip on site, at a glance, was an ordinary repairman. Can you fix it? I nodded, then held up 5 fingers. 500,000. Zhang Lingnan's eyes locked onto my hand. 500,000? That was almost insultingly cheap. The R&D behind this chip ran into the billions. It was a core component of the entire satellite navigation system. 500,000 was nothing. He'd have paid 5 million without blinking. 500,000, excellent. His face brightened. Bank transfer or card? My expression soured immediately. I frowned at him. What's wrong now? He asked. Is that too low? My frown deepened. Zhao Lingling leaned in fast, whispering, Director, he's not saying 500,000. He means 500 yuan. Zhang Lingnan froze. 500? Yuan? That's not even enough to cover the packaging. I threw up my hands, annoyed. Fine, don't repair it then. You people throw taxpayer money around like it's confetti. 500. Final offer. I shoved the box back across the table and sat down, reopening my mic. The chat exploded instantly. He's back. Thought the government shut this guy down, lol. The researcher lady's back too. Who's the old guy? He looks important with a capital I. Wait, did he just say 500 yuan again? Is he fixing another aircraft carrier? What's in the box? Bro is single-handedly subsidizing national research. Boss? Zhao Lingling said quickly. We'll take it, 500, deal. She scanned my code before I could change my mind. Payment received, 500 yen. Zhang Lingnan stared at the transaction on my screen, like it might rearrange itself into something that made sense. A component tied to national strategic infrastructure had just changed hands for less than a decent dinner. I stretched, unbothered. If you weren't a repeat customer, I wouldn't even be touching this. You think I need your 500 yuan? The chat lost it. He's taking the job. What is it, though? That case looks expensive. Show us. Come on, boss, what are you fixing? I flashed a grin at the camera. Nothing special. Just a little something from up in the sky. They trust me, so I'm taking a look. Zhang Lingnan's mouth twitched. Something from up in the sky? This is not some little something. Zhao Lingling hurried to smooth things over. Director, it's fine, he's just like this. People with real talent tend to come with unusual personalities. Why turn off the live stream? This one's nothing worth hiding. Last time, the lithography module, that was delicate. This. I shrugged. Small job, might as well let everyone learn something. Zhang Lingnan stared at me, his face twitching, his pulse visibly picking up. Did this kid have any idea what he was holding? He'd called it a small repair. What would he consider a big one, reassembling a crashed UFO? I ignored him and walked to the corner of the shop, pulling out a second toolbox. I opened it. Zhang Lingnan's heart nearly stopped. Inside, an old dental drill, a scratched-up plastic clamp, some aging spools of wire, and something that looked suspiciously like an antique hand-cranked coffee grinder. Combined, the whole set probably wasn't worth $5. His breathing turned ragged. Finally, he couldn't hold it in anymore. He pointed at the pile like it had personally offended him. Boss, you are not seriously planning to repair my chip with that. For the first time in decades, the unshakable director felt something close to actual fear. I frowned. Don't like my tools? Then take your chip and go. My shop's not really built for someone with your refined tastes. I tossed the tool back onto the table and sat down. Repair it or don't. Repair it? We'll repair it! Zhao Lingling jumped in fast. Director, we used the exact same setup last time. It was even worse than this. You have to trust him. Zhang Lingnan's face went red, but he forced himself to stay quiet. I rolled my eyes. System, let's go. The world dissolved into streams of data in front of me. I hooked one of my modified circuit boards to the power supply. It started humming at a low frequency, then carefully clamped it onto the chip and worked it across every microscopic section. Zhao Lingling instinctively grabbed the magnifying lens. Through it, she and Zhang Lingnan watched the pathways inside the chip shift, separating, then snapping back into precise alignment. Zhang Lingnan's hair practically stood on end. What is this technology? Decades of research, and it suddenly felt worthless. How did a homemade circuit board outperform his entire institute? Even the livestream chat was baffled. Is he giving the chip a haircut? Don't understand a thing, but the entertainment value is unmatched. What technical school did this man attend? Boss, careful. Don't fry it. No idea what's happening, but I am not looking away. Zhang Lingnan and Zhao Lingling hunched shoulder to shoulder over the lens, sweat beading on both their foreheads. I set the circuit board down and picked up the hand-cranked grinder, scooping powder from an old tea tin into it, then started turning the handle. It rattled like it was one crank from falling apart. Zhang Lingnan whispered, Lingling, is this really how he fixed the lithography module? This looks like a child's toy. I can't tell if he's repairing anything or just playing. Zhao Lingling, though, looked thrilled. Look at the powder, that's ultrasonic atomization suspension. That means what exactly? I ignored him and picked up the dental drill, using the freshly ground material to work on the chip's damaged sections. The same principle as before, entirely different materials. Tiny arcs jumped from the drill tip into the microscopic circuitry, each ruined section snapping back with unnatural precision. The collapsed structures rebuilt themselves right in front of them. Zhang Lingnan stared, unable to process it even as he watched it happen. A box of junk was repairing one of the nation's most advanced technological components. Time seemed to crawl. Neither of them dared breathe, Zhang Lingnan especially, a weight pressing on his chest like something physical. The collapsed crystal lattice rebuilt itself. Broken circuits reconnected with flawless precision. This wasn't repair anymore. It was closer to invention. The last bit of material melted seamlessly into the chip. I set the tool down. Under the lens, the chip looked untouched by damage. Perfect. Done. Zhao Lingling stared. It looks different. Neither of them could say exactly how. The chip gave off a faint glow, every circuit in flawless alignment, the crystal core at its center immaculate, like it had never been damaged at all. I tossed the tools back in the box like I'd just fixed a rice cooker. That's it? Zhang Lingnan asked, snapping back to reality. Yep. What were you expecting? Fireworks? A speech from your institute director? Zhang Lingnan nearly choked. Unbelievably talented and absolutely merciless with his mouth. I packed up, unbothered. Zhang Lingnan felt a wave of pure disbelief wash over him. Either I've lost my mind or I'm dreaming. This can't be real. The chat wasn't handling it much better. That's it? That's how he fixed it? I just watched a god sew circuits together. Physics doesn't apply to this man anymore. I hereby declare this streamer a deity. That's not a dental drill. That cannot be a normal dental drill. Then Zhang Lingnan started breathing hard, his face flushing deep red. Director? Zhao Lingling grabbed his arm, alarmed. I panicked too. Hey, don't collapse in my shop. I need this place to pay rent. I'm fine. He forced several deep breaths. I'm fine. Zhao Lingling tried to soothe him. Director, you'll get used to it. This is just how Boss Jiang operates. Normal? Lingling, do you understand what this has just done to my nervous system? Our institute has hundreds of experts. We spent years on this exact problem. And this man just solved it with a dental drill and a hand-cranked hair product dispenser. How am I supposed to get used to that? I sighed. Old man, your stuff's fixed. Please don't die in my shop. Then, almost as an afterthought, also, your timing algorithm was a little outdated, so I fixed that too. And your crystal lattice density was too low. Arrangement was inefficient, adjusted that as well. Zhang Lingnan turned to look at me very, very slowly. I'd actually planned to tack on another 200 yuan for that. But given the poor man's current condition, I decided against it, didn't want to be the guy who literally shocked a national director to death. To Zhang Lingnan, though, my casual aside landed like a detonation. Not only had I repaired the chip, I'd optimized it, redesigned the lattice, improved the underlying architecture. What kind of human being did that? I slid the chip back into its case. Take it home. No extra charge. Timing frequency should be way more stable now. In theory, your error margin should drop by another order or two of magnitude. Exactly how much, you'll have to test yourselves. I handed the case over. He stared at it. His eyes went wide, his legs buckled, and he dropped straight to the floor. I shot up. Hey, old man, did you come here for a repair or an insurance claim? Get up. I already said no extra charge. Don't try to scam me. Back at the 7th Research Institute, Cleanroom 1 held no laughter this time, only researchers moving fast and silent between stations, every face locked in total concentration. Nobody dared to relax. At the centre of it all stood Chief Engineer Li Weizheng, eyes fixed on the main display, a headset feeding him a steady stream of data from the test rig. His brow was drawn tight. Then the next round of results began populating the screen. The whole room held its breath, because if these numbers matched what they'd already seen once today, the repaired chip wasn't just a repaired chip. It might be the opening chapter of an entirely new era.